just arrived to Stone Town on the island of Zanzibar, and it's kind of surreal being here. There was no other tourists on the ferry, but it's still a pretty exciting time exploring this area with not a lot of other tourists, so it's going to be pretty special. But life is going on as normal here. It's pretty amazing to be back to like normal feeling life. This is a really interesting place. Right now it's being totally redone, but back in the 1800s, Stone Town was actually the capital of Oman. And so the Sultan of Oman lived here in a palace, and he used this House of Wonders to entertain his guests. And the whole city itself is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So is this building. It's the first building in Eastern Africa that had an elevator. It was also the first building in Eastern Africa to have electricity. So it's a very interesting piece of this place and has a lot of history, and I really wish it was finished so I could go inside. But I think once it's done all the renovations, it's going to be a really cool museum. That's what they're turning it into. So I'm going to have to come back to that. Park, and it was actually built to welcome Queen Elizabeth here before. She never actually ended up coming. She sent someone else on her behalf to come, but they built this whole park literally just to welcome her here. And she did send some seeds for some trees, so there's some trees planted over there that are actually really quite large trees now, and that was done on her behalf. Also, this is super interesting, guys. There's the shortest war in history fought right here, and there's a bunch of cannons right there looking at the sea. The British came over to put an end to slavery on the island, and the Omans were trying to fight them off. The war only lasted 15 minutes. The British were able to come on the island, and that is when they progressed at stopping the slavery. It's so interesting. 15 minutes, can you believe it? A lot of places are closed right now because of the whole worldwide lockdown and everything stopping, even though nothing locked down here, but because there's no tourists, just a lot of things are open right now. I think it's so cool that these buildings, it's kind of like in Europe. When the outside of the building, you don't think it's much, but just like when we went into the Secret Garden and the hotel there, you walk in and you're like, where am I? It does not look like this from the outside of the building. So it's always like you're in for like a little surprise. Anything with the chain that goes around at any door means they were slave owners, and then if you have cloves or anything carved into it, that also means that they were farming. They were farmers. These spikes on the door was so that elephants couldn't break your door down, because the guards and things had elephants, and if they couldn't get into somewhere, they would use the elephant to try and break in, but these spikes would prevent the elephants from breaking in. The whole city of Stone Town has cameras, and it's funny because in Canada we have like little cameras that you can't really see, and here they have like, they're massive, you can definitely see them, but it's for your own protection, guys. That way you can't get robbed, nothing bad can happen because there's eyes in the sky. I am discovering so much about Stone Town. It's actually like really exciting. There's a lot of mosquitoes here, so not so much malaria, but a lot of mosquitoes, so you definitely need a little bit of mosquito repellent. But other than that, this is epic. I am learning a lot. There's so much history here, and there's just such a Middle Eastern feel, and these doors are cool, and all the stone buildings. Stone Town does get its name after the stone buildings, so anyone who builds buildings here actually has to build a stone building because they don't like change. They like it to stay and remain the historical way. That big tree behind me was a bayan tree. It was the last tree planted by the last Sultan of Zanzibar in 1944. Very interesting. Decided to take a tour, a little walking tour of Stone Town. So it's good to get a local's perspective and hear a little bit of the history and all that. Now, in case you guys didn't know, it is 95% Muslim on the island, and I just learned there's 5 different types of Muslims. I didn't realize it's just kind of like there's different types of Christian religions. Same thing with Muslims. Anyway, interesting. Back from 1800 to 1909, it was the port for the biggest slave trade in Eastern Africa, and that went on for over 100 years until 2 guys came here and put a stop to it. So right now we're on the grounds where the slave trading was taking place, and all the slaves would be brought here and they would be beaten, and the ones that didn't scream were sold for a higher price, and the ones that did scream in pain were sold for a cheaper price. How crazy to think that was a reality. Right now we're walking through a church, but way back in the day this wasn't a church. This is actually where they beat the slaves up there at the podium, and then all the people would be sitting here wanting to buy them. Now it's a church because the 2 guys who put a stop to the slavery, Edward Steer and Dr. Livingstone, they were Christians, so they turned it into a church afterwards. And then up at the podium up there is actually the grave of Edward Steer, because he died here, but Dr. Livingstone died in Zambia, I believe, of malaria. So very interesting history here. It's really hard to believe that these are the rooms that they kept the slaves in, and they're so small and really hot. Small windows, women and children on one side, men on the other. I just spent about 40 minutes walking through here and reading all the history of the slavery that went on here, and I was almost in tears at some spots reading about it. It's hard to believe that all of this took place here in Zanzibar, and that people had to endure what they endured. It's just, wow, it's unimaginable. And it's, you know, just over 100 years ago, not even that long ago. There's still a lot of people that are descendants of slaves, and it's crazy, yeah, wow.
Really good, yeah.
Wow, that is so good. It's super sweet because it is sugar cane, but really good.
Ginger too.
Yeah,
Yum.
ginger, lemon, sugar cane, so good. So tonight we actually came to the night market, and this is more of the local night market where all the locals come and eat every night. There is another market, but yeah, this would be the typical place that all the locals come and eat. So we're getting a little bit of palau and just enjoying taking it all in, walking around. You having fun?
Have a good time.
You excited for your palau?
Well, what's that?
Palau, you excited?
Oh yeah, first time trying palau. Really excited.
Check out the feast, guys. We got palau there, spinach, salad, cabbage, meat. Tonight I'm trying Zanzibar pizza, and it's different than your regular pizza, as you've seen when he made it. It's good. And we just seen someone get arrested. I don't know what he did because it was really quiet, but everyone pounced on him, and then he got taken away and he was only wearing shorts. I'm not sure what was going on there. A little bit of action tonight, eh?
Yeah, a little wild for sure.
Yeah. I'm officially turning into a sweaty mess because it's really hot, but this hotel is one of the coolest hotels I've ever seen. Every room seems to be a different color, and the decor is just something else. It's really unique. And there's a famous artist in Tanzania, his name is Diamond. In this very room, he recorded a music video. So that's also very interesting knowledge, guys. The floor is absolutely beautiful. Perfect place to have coffee in the morning.